Hi everyone. How confident are you in the quality of your decision? I'm Yuri Galimidi, and today I want to share with you my thoughts about the rationality of our decision-making processes. Scientists tell us that there are two formidable and competing forces that are driving our decisions. Number one, the drive to avoid what might be causing us pain and discomfort. And number two, the huge motivation to seek what might bring us pleasure. So I can hear you say, yeah, this might be true when it comes to my decision to go to the dentist this week for an aching tooth or delay to next month. But when it comes to decisions about my career, surely I'm a lot more rational than this. At the end of this video, I'd like to share with you a talk by Professor Dan Ariely about the fragility and vulnerability of our decision-making processes. But until then, I'd like to share with you two case stories, one of my own personal experience and one of my coaching clients about career-related decisions that we made. So let me start first with my own career decision that I made towards the end of my service at Oracle. At that time, it was towards the end of the tech bubble, and everyone at Oracle was leaving the company to pursue greener pastures. It started with the president of Oracle at the time, Ray Lane. It went down to the executive vice presidents and my own group vice president and my own boss, the vice president, and many of my peers, regional vice presidents like I was at the time. And they all decided to leave and join some startups in the hope that they will become millionaires and billionaires within a year or two. And so my decision was to try and join one of those startups. And why did I decide to do that at the time? Clearly, because I was seeking the pleasure that this decision might bring to me, in that I would also become a multi-millionaire if my plan had materialized successfully. So I sold my house. I almost moved my family down to San Francisco, to the Bay Area, Silicon Valley. And within a year of making this futile decision in my career, the company folded, it went bankrupt, and my plans were shattered completely. And whenever I reflect on my career and my critical decisions in my life, I bring up this example which I highly regret. And I forever regret my own belief about the pleasure that money can bring me, as opposed to the stability and the constant ongoing growth that I experienced in my career at Oracle at the time. So let me now share with you another example from one of my coaching clients. I call her Debbie, and Debbie was a very successful professional in her firm. But unfortunately for her, she had a very toxic relationship with a new boss that came into the company and took over from her previous boss. And this new boss was trying to dominate Debbie and really made her life miserable inside the company. Miserable to a point that Debbie decided, I cannot take this anymore, and I got to leave the company. And she left for a much more inferior position in another company, only to learn a few months later that that boss with whom she had a toxic relationship actually left the company soon thereafter. And had Debbie had the resilience and the fortitude to stick it out, to stay with her company, to stay with her job for a few more months, she would have survived the new toxic boss who left, as I said, a few months later. So you might be thinking at this very moment, oh yes, this might be happening to Yuri or his coaching client, but surely I am a much more rational thinker and decision maker. So at the end of this video, I will share with you a reference to a well-being course conducted by Professor Laurie Santos out of Yale University that teaches us about the fallibility of our decision-making and our intuition. So what is my advice to you? Number one, find yourself one or more trusted and experienced mentors that have your well-being at heart and are willing to support you, especially when you have to make consequential and potentially life-changing decisions. And when you are at one of these situations, seek their input, seek their advice, seek their perspective, because they will not have the emotional vesting that you have in this decision, in this situation. And number two, develop your conscious self-awareness of the emotions that are running inside your head, consciously or non-consciously, at the time that you are considering those consequential, crucial decisions in your life and in your career. So I am a great believer in the benefits of the professional journal. This is a notebook in which we can document our mindsets, our experiences, the forces that are driving our decisions, the conflicting emotions that we might experience when making these decisions. And the more we document these things, the more it helps us to become consciously aware of these forces, which otherwise we might not be as consciously aware of what is happening inside of our brain when those forces are fighting between them. As promised, I will include in the description below this video a reference to Professor Dan Ariely's TED Talk about the fallibility of our rational decision-making, and also a reference to the free course at Coursera.com by Professor Laurie Santos of Yale University about the science of well-being. And hopefully, by using these two resources, you can educate yourself about the rationality of our decision-making processes, and perhaps that will help you a little bit more to become more rational when facing a conscious, life-changing, potentially, decision. If you appreciate the content of my videos, please click on the subscribe button below, and also click on the little bell that will remind you every time a new video comes out, which will be every Tuesday. And until my next video, take care, stay safe, and please remember, there is no growth inside of our comfort zone.